Welcome back to the junk room, guys. We're here to talk junk. What junk we're going to talk about today? Nope, not Star Wars. Why? Because I couldn't think of anything to talk about Star Wars. I know, finally, after 40-something years, I'm at a loss for something to talk about when it comes to Star Wars. Of course, I was going to do a Star Wars Kenner video, but I've done about 2 of them in a row, and I like to do toys, movie, toy, movie, toy, movie, toy, movie. Toy movie, toy movie, toy movie. You know, you get the idea. But then I decided, let's talk about something we haven't talked about in a long time. Indiana Jones. Yes, I know we're Star Wars junk, but we talk about other things, and Star Wars and Indiana Jones has always been kind of linked together. So let me try not to put my hands on the table too much, and we'll talk Indiana Jones. First up, I'm not wearing an Indiana Jones shirt. Believe it or not, I don't know if you can tell, this is a Stormtrooper shirt. Why am I not wearing an Indiana Jones shirt to talk Indiana Jones? It's very hard to find Indiana Jones shirts. Well, that is until now. Now Star Wars Junk has Indiana Jones shirts. And more coming. So buy a couple of shirts. Help us out. And you can also help us out on our Patreon page. I know this is a shameless plug. You want me to get on to Indiana Jones. But first you have to sit through this ad telling you or begging you to go support us on Patreon. What will you get? Well, you'll get videos like this one 24 hours before those commoners on YouTube see it. That's right. You could have already seen this if you were supporting us on Patreon. You also get outtakes. I know I make this look easy and simple because I can't hardly even speak. So you'll get to see that. Plus you'll get an exclusive blog, discounts on our shirts, and so much more on Patreon. So click the link in the description below. And that's enough of me begging for support, isn't it? Now, let's get on to it. Let's talk Indiana Jones. First up, what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about 10 things I never noticed in the Indiana Jones movies. But that list kind of became an Easter egg video. And that list of Easter eggs kind of became a, I didn't know this or that about the making of. So I don't know what to call this video, to be honest with you. I'm just going to call it 10 things that you probably didn't know about the Indiana Jones movies. And I know if you're a fan like me, you probably knew 8 to 10 of these. But I'm hoping that at least 2 or 3 on this list you didn't know. I'm going to stay away from those common things, you know, like R2 and 3PO are in Raiders of the Lost Ark. Everybody knows that. And I'm sure some of these are common, but I've tried to go away from the main common ones. And oh well, I'm rambling. That's what I do. So let's get on to it. You didn't come here to hear me ramble. First up, number 10, or I don't know if I'm going to number them. But anyway, here's the first one. Raiders of the Lost Ark producer Frank Marshall, who you also might know as the husband of Kathleen Kennedy, who produces Lucasfilms now and does all the Star Wars movies. He is in Raiders of the Lost Ark. That's right. From what I understand, a lot of the crew and stuntman got sick during the filming of this scene, and they asked him to sit in the cockpit and be the pilot of the plane they were about to take the Ark out on. You know that famous scene where Indy's fighting the big mechanic guy? Frank Marshall is the pilot of that scene. And also it seems it took him about 3 days to film his scene, and all he really does is just sit there in the cockpit. I don't know, but he wasn't an actor, so I guess you can't really blame him on that. But that starts off our list. Frank Marshall is in Raiders of the Lost Ark. And like I said, Indiana Jones and Star Wars has always been linked together. And here's one, it's not really that uncommon. A lot of Star Wars fans probably know this one. There's a scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark where Indiana Jones got his bazooka and he's like, "Hey, Belloc!" And Belloc's, you know, like, "Hey, yeah, what you want, Indiana Jones? I'm going to blow it back to God!" Yeah, you know that scene. Anyway, that scene was filmed at the same place where the Jawas captured R2-D2. Yep. Same place. Almost, I mean, the exact, not the same town, not the same city, not the same planet, the exact same spot. Did you know that? Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. I'm not here to judge if you did or if you didn't. I'm here just to tell you the list. And here's one that's not really an Easter egg. I didn't know how to fit this into the list. That's why I said this list kind of changed all around. But I've seen a lot of people ask, how did Indiana Jones know to close his eyes during the opening of the Ark? Remember that scene? "Close your eyes, Marion. Don't look at it. No matter what happens, don't look at it." You know, I told my daughter the same thing where we was trying to watch Avatar. But anyway, how did Indiana Jones know this? I know he's a great teacher. He knows a lot of history and things. But this was kind of odd for him just to say, "Close your eyes, Marion. Don't look at it." Just an odd thing for him to know what not to do while they're opening the Ark of the Covenant. Well, there is a deleted scene. Sadly, the Blu-ray of Indiana Jones didn't really give us any good deleted scenes. They kind of threw something in there during the making of, but come on, Paramount, Lucasfilm, or whoever, give us some good deleted scenes. I'll rebuy the Blu-ray again, I guess, if I have to. I want good deleted scenes. But anyway, this right here. Everyone knows what this is. The headpiece to the Staff of Ra. And while we're talking about it, ain't it weird that the stick has a name, but this doesn't? This is just the headpiece to the Staff of Ra. That's right. The pole is called the Staff of Ra. Not this. What is a Ra anyway? Shouldn't this have a name? A gold medallion? I'm sure there's someone out there who's read all the books and comics and stuff and can tell me the name of it. But for the most part, everybody knows this is the headpiece to the Staff of Ra. And if you remember, Indiana Jones gets it translated by this really old creepy dude that's sitting on the floor. Kind of like what I'm doing right now. I'm like the old creepy guy of YouTube. Anyway, he translates this and tells him what size the staff. In the cut scene, he flips it over, reads some more, and that's when he tells Indiana Jones of the warning to not look at the Ark being opened, to close his eyes. That's how Indiana Jones knows to tell Marion to close your eyes. Just like when I told my daughter to close her eyes when I took her to see Avatar. Man, that was... Avatar.
Come, look here, look. Sit down. Come, sit down.
And here's one you all might know. Pat Roach. Who is Pat Roach? Well, he's a wrestler, stuntman, actor that appeared in all 3 Indiana Jones films. Okay, there's 4 Indiana Jones films, but for this video, we're just talking 3. And he passed away before he could do Crystal Skull, so there's no reason for him to be in it. So he couldn't have been in it if he wanted to be in it. But anyway, we're talking just the classic 3 here. Sorry, Crystal. We'll talk about you one day. Oh, we got a lot to say about you, Crystal.
Power of God or something.
Pat Roach is in all the Indiana Jones movies. That's right. He plays 2 roles in Raiders of the Lost Ark. First, he's one of the bad guys in Raven's Bar when he's fighting Indiana Jones. Second, most famously, he's the German soldier that Indiana Jones gets in a fight with that gets killed by the airplane propellers. And then we jump over to Temple of Doom, and he's the big thuggy. Isn't that what they call him? I guess that's some fancy word for thug. But he's the big thuggy that Indiana Jones crushes with that conveyor belt rock thing. Sorry, I'm not really good at technical crushing rock lingo. But he also appears in Last Crusade. Although his scene was cut, there is a quick scene of him, but his main scene was cut. He plays a Gestapo that's on their way to the Zeppelin, the big blimp thing. I thought Zeppelin was the name of some 70s rock band, but that was when I was a kid. I grew up and realized Zeppelin is what you call this blimp. I thought it was just called a Goodyear blimp, you know, as a kid. Anyway, I'm rambling again. So he's in all 3 films. Now, there are some people who say he plays multiple roles in Temple of Doom, that he also plays the guy that hits the gong. But according to the critics of the movie, this is played by somebody else, so I'm not including him on this list. I don't care what some website said.
I am the monarch of the sea. I am the ruler of the...
And here's another one, Lincoln, Indiana Jones, and Star Wars. We all know the club in Temple of Doom is called Club Obi-Wan. That's an easy one. And we all have heard about how C-3PO and R2 appear on the column. But did you pick up this one? The plane that Indy runs to at the beginning of the movie has letters on the side of the plane that read OB, Obi-Wan, dash, CPO, as in C-3PO. That's right, a little reference to Star Wars right there at the beginning of Raiders. And here's one, people like me that's seen Raiders of the Lost Ark 100 million times, they know this one for sure. Did you know, in the movie, Renee Belloc eats a fly?
You're gonna give mercenaries a bad name.
Man, that's some good acting, or some commitment by Paul Freeman to not cut the scene. He's talking to Indiana Jones again with Indiana Jones with the bazooka. I gotta blow it back to God, Renee! You know the scene, I've talked about it already. And he's telling Indy to go ahead, blow it back to God, give him a spiel about how we're just passing through history and that is history and something. And a fly lands on his face and crawls up into his mouth. The actor just keeps going. Now, first people say the fly flies away. I can't believe I got that out right. The fly flies away, and he just looks like it goes into his mouth. Well, I've watched this scene a number of times. I think he ate the fly. Or at least it got very close. And hey, I don't care if it went in his mouth or not. If I'm making a movie and a fly crawls up my face, time it lands there and starts crawling, I'm going to be like...
Surely you don't think you can escape from this island?
Here's another one. I don't know if this is not really an Easter egg. This is more something that didn't hit me till years later watching these movies. And this one can be counted for the Crystal Skull. You hear that, Crystal? We're going to talk about you. And I did a whole video on this too. You can check it out. I'll put it in the descriptions below also, right by the Patreon link and the t-shirt link. Plugging away. But have you noticed this? In every movie, Indiana Jones loses everything. Now the video goes into more detail about it, but we'll go it real quick. At the beginning of Raiders, he loses the golden idol head. Then he loses the Ark. He gets it, but that's just because all the Nazis died. Temple of Doom starts, and what's he want? The Miyachi, whatever his name is, the King Dynasty guy. He loses it. I don't know what happens to it, but he flees Obi-Wan's club, never gets it. Also loses the diamond he had. And then from there he goes and gets the rocks. What happens to those magic rocks he goes looking for? 2 of them fall into the river, and the other one he gives back to the locals. Now let's talk Last Crusade. At the beginning, River Phoenix, as young Indiana Jones, finds the cross. I forget what it's called, but you know, it's the cross. And it's taken away from him also by, I don't know the guy's name. To me, he always looks like Joe Flaherty. Anybody remember Joe Flaherty? If you don't know him from SCTV, you probably know him from Freaks and Geek. I don't know why this guy's always remind me of Joe Flaherty. I have no idea. I don't even know if it looks like him because we hardly see the guy. But every time I see him, I think Joe Flaherty. And then I guess, 10 years later, Indiana Jones does get the cross back. That's probably about the only thing he did get back, although it wasn't during his adventure time looking for it. So after the cross, what does he go after? The Holy Grail. Where does it end up? In some hole in the ground. He loses that also. And then we go to your buddy, the Crystal Skull. It didn't have a little adventure story at the beginning that had nothing to do with the plot of the movie. I don't know why it started like that, why it was so different, why they wanted to do something completely different. You set up this theme in all the Indiana Jones movies that you start the movies with a side adventure that really have nothing to do with the plot. But this one, I think it has to do with the plot because there's an alien in it. Although the alien in that base looks nothing like the alien in the film. I don't know. I could spend an hour talking about Crystal Skull. Let's go on. He finds the Crystal Skull, takes it to these aliens, and they take it in their ship. Or they put it back on their neck, and they take it up into the ship, and it goes, well, not going to go into space. It goes into the space between spaces. I don't know. But the point is, Indiana Jones loses everything he goes after.
Oh, that can't be good.
Here's another one, kind of like a cameo that I combined 2. We're going to give you 2 for the price of 1 right here. First up, the guy that, now I always call him Tot. I don't know how to say his name. What's his name? Tot. We always called him Tot as a kid, and then when I got older, I heard his name was Tote, or whatever. You know, the guy that wears black, the black wearing Nazi guy in Raiders All Start. He shows up again as a different character, I guess, as a Nazi during the Last Crusade scene. Near the end of the movie, when Indiana Jones goes into Germany, faces Hitler to get his diary back. In the scene, in the very background, it's hard to see. It's the same actor. I'm sorry I forgot your name, but I didn't feel like looking it up, to be honest with you. I guess I could have. But anyway, he's in the background of one of them scenes playing one of the head Nazi guys. But here's another one that links Indiana Jones with Star Wars. We all know that the actor, the bad guy from Last Crusade, is also in Empire Strikes Back. We know that. But did you know Hitler from the Last Crusade is also in the Empire Strikes Back? So I guess in a way, Hitler is in Empire Strikes Back. And here's one I found out as a kid that blew my mind. You probably know this one already. Again, it's not super popular, so I put it on the list, and I put it way down because I think it's pretty cool. Did you know the actor from the hit movie Neighbors? Oh, not that Neighbors. This Neighbors. Classic, right? Well, I liked it when I was little. I don't know if it held up. So don't run out and watch it on my account. Anyway, we're talking Dan Aykroyd. He's been in a lot of stuff besides Neighbors. He even makes some whiskey that's in a crystal skull. That's pretty neat right there. I don't drink whiskey, but if I did, I would buy it in a crystal skull. Anyway, again, I'm rambling. So what does Dan Aykroyd have to do with
Temple of Doom.
He's in the
Temple of Doom.
And I'm not talking some small part in the back or riding on a bicycle across the screen like
Steven Spielberg
did for Gremlins. I'm talking about he's in it with a speaking role. He's the guy that leads them to the plane after they escape Obi-Wan's club. Yep, that's Dan Aykroyd, Dr. Detroit himself.
Ah, Dr. Jones, I'm Weber. I spoke with your assistant. We've managed to secure 3 seats. But there might be a slight inconvenience as you will be riding on a cargo full of live poultry.
Is he kidding?
Madam, it's the best I could do at such short notice.
And now we're going to end this list with another actor that's played 2 roles, and they're both in Raiders of the Lost Ark. And I didn't know this one until like 2 years ago, and it blew my mind. And again, I'm sorry I don't know this guy's name, but I'm thinking that most of you watching don't know the guy's name either. In Raiders of the Lost Ark, we all called him Monkey Man. He's the one that had the monkey originally, and he poisons those dates. You remember the dates?
Bad dates.
Did you know he also plays another role in Raiders of the Lost Ark? Yep, at the very beginning of the movie, he's one of the first guys you see. He's the one that pulls out his gun and aims it at the back of Indiana Jones before Indy turns around and whips him with that bullwhip. And we all stood up and cheered. But you remember that guy. Did you know that was the same actor playing both roles? Like I said, I didn't know this was like 2 years ago. And I don't know who this guy is. Sorry I don't know your name, but he has to be one of the greatest actors ever, because just watch this. How does an actor just fall like this while trying to brace himself? How do you just fall like this? Did you see that? Whew. That's some acting. That and eating a fly. I'm going to call it right now. The 2 best actors in the world are in Raiders of the Lost Ark. Anyone that can fall flat on their face like that, and anyone that can eat a fly, you should win the Academy Award every year. And that's it. That's just a look. Like I said, I didn't know what to call this video. 10 Easter eggs, 10 things I didn't know. Let's just say it's 10 things about Indiana Jones movies. And again, we barely scratched the surface on the Crystal Skull. Maybe I need to do a whole video about the Crystal Skull. Did I like it? Did I love it? Did I hate it? I can't say I hated it. Can't say I loved it. Sorry, buddy. But you had a big challenge to live up to. But it could have been a lot better, right? Anyway, we're rambling now. Again, if you like this video, if you want to see them 24 hours earlier, if you want to see our special Patreon-only podcast, or if you just want to help us support so maybe we can make these videos better, get some lighting in here, do something. If you want to just support our channel, please do. Patreon. I'm going to put the link below. Again, you get outtakes, videos early, special videos that will only be on Patreon, a podcast special that's only on Patreon. And what else do you get? Oh yeah, discounts on the shirts. Hey, that pays for itself right there, right?
Oh, shit.
Man, I'm finna go support myself right now. How can you not support that? That's like Santa Claus coming to your house every damn day.
Proceeding.
But anyway, thank you for watching. Renee Belloc thanks you. Renee. Crystal thanks you. Mickey thanks you. And the headpiece thanks you. And I thank you. I don't really never know how to end these videos. So I'm just going to say one more time, StarWarsJunk.net. Check it out. And I will end this podcast telling you this right here.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.